Right, I think you see that, folks. I'm gonna expand it out. Now, I'm not talking about the bottom two lights to the left. I'm talking about the top light. Whoops. Top lights, I should say. David Hayley, being such a fat cunt, has increased the street lights below it. But as you can see, try to keep as close as possible. The lights are above the street lights, and it's not a house. And as I'm pointing this, I'm lying down in bed, I'm pushing up to the sky, so it's not looking at anything, anybody's windows or anything like that. But so just ignore the light to the left. The lights, I should say, to the left, right hand side. Sorry, left hand side. And I'll just, what day is today? I think it's the 11th of May 2021, and it's about 10:30. Just move that. Can you see them? Flashing. Now I'm going to go back to normal. Not looking at the houses over there. There's my TV, there's the other windows. And you can see the lights of the flats directly sort of to my right. Okay. And this is normal view. And the two in the centre of this, the flashing lights you can see, there's no houses. So there's houses, but I can't film it, it won't show up in my position. I would have to get out of bed and point out the window to see the houses. Okay, so I want to expand it now. Oops. Hi family. You see that? Hi family. And what I'm going to do for this recording, and I literally think it's the bottom left hand light that's the street lamp, because it's really bright, shining really bright. So ignore that. Bottom left hand light. Unless it does something crazy, then I don't know why it be a street lamp. So right. And what I'm going to do is just refresh the questions that I've asked previously. In this section, it's just going to be about the stalking, targeting by West Midlands Police and their creature beast. Okay, and what I want to do in this section, and what I'm going to do in this post, is write down all the names of the companies involved or the people involved, because, like I said previously, this is to do, the core of targeting is to do with sex offences, sex offenders, child molesters, infant molesters, just rapists in general. Okay, and the reason why I was targeted, because I made a complaint about being stalked by a convicted rapist. Okay, and this is a whole programme. It's the dregs of society. When I say the dregs, I literally do mean the dregs of society. You've got all sorts. You've got child molesters in this, fucking people. And when I say they, I mean the police and council. Okay, So I'm just going to go back. Paul Burgess was initially the guy that stalked me. Paul Burgess has got a conviction for rape. And him and his partner Sylvia, who lived across the hall, were in it together. And so was that twat Brian at number 30, still in there. Number 32, sorry, I should say. Dog's at number 30, isn't it? And Patrick, and the both, I've got recordings of them both being involved in the stalking. While Paul Burgess used to stand outside my door. Okay. I remember what I told you about the flashing, what it means. Okay. Seems like that light's gone, don't you think? Have I turned it off? Is that fat foot turned it off? Anyway, Paul Burgess has an history of violence against women. Okay, he has a conviction for rape, and everybody involved in my case from Dudley Council is aware of that. Everybody at Dudley Council, the housing managers, and I'm talking Patrick, Matthew Cartwright was involved with it. Matthew Cartwright was having sexual relations with the female Sylvia, obviously, and so were other police officers having sex with her. And when I say sexual deviance is at the core of the targeting programme, trust me, it is. Okay. Anyway, they stalked me for years. Okay. The police, when I reported it to the council and the police, they did their best to cover up for them and to hide that. And like I said, I'm going to go through everybody that's involved again, and all the names I'm going to say are true. All the companies I'm going to name are true. All the companies and the people involved I'm going to name know my situation, like Desmond Jadu is a race activist, Kenneth Rodney, so he sort of worked at a company that specialises, in inverted commas, in race relations. He was aware at the time I contacted him that Paul Burgess had stalked him for so long that they planned to do a snuff movie. The couple did. And the creatures that still living in this block, what everybody knows in this block, was aware of that. Okay. West Midlands Police, this is not new. When I reported it, it was just weird. He's a serious sex offender and a serious stalker and is a danger to women. They have he's not a charming psychopath, he's a fucking weirdo. Okay. I won't be the only female that's ever, or the woman that he raped, or his partners, be the only female that's reporting to the police. Okay. Women will know this. He has a habit of looking at you in the eye, looking at your breast, and looking at your genitals. That's one look he has. The other look he has, just looks straight through you. Okay? And all the creatures beaches involved, Dudley Council, Westminster Police, know his hatred of women is so strong it's palpable. You can sort of feel it in the air. It just views them as sexual parts. He just looks at the sexual parts of women. He has no social skills to deal with women that are not. He doesn't find sexual, or he doesn't think of or look straight through you. Like I said, at the beginning of this, I found it weird that Dudley Council, at the time, was run by Pete Lowe, and Westminster Police did everything at all. They acted everything, they carried on doing everything at all possible to protect him. And like I say, people are involved in this, like Kenneth Kenneth Rodney, get the name out, and Desmond Stew. He even phoned somebody, a woman. So I want to tell you about this targeting scheme. Family, short day there, who apparently specialised in see that flash there? Sorry. Who specialised in stalking cases, and she told me to leave it, just don't get, just go, just move, just leave it. And I think her name was Louise. Don't worry, I'll dig out information on this goes up, hopefully. Got her details somewhere. And when the police started to get involved, after they refused to take a statement from me, after refused to Jamie Hobday refused to refer it to the IPCC, so I had to do it. And you would have seen the paperwork. And when the police started stalking them themselves, the police did say this is a war, one of the officers. And I think it was one of the officers that was shagging Sylvia. And she's a disgusting creature, fuck's sake. She growls, literally. And I told her they've got demons attached to them. It fucking growls, whatever is attached to her. See another light? Yeah. Okay. They all are the same. They all got the same energy. When they started to target me, the police, I sent them to those stores. That's what they fucking did, and that's what they're doing. Child molestation, infant rape, child abuse, fantasies is their stock. So it's not just protecting somebody that rapes adults, they're protecting sex offenders that rape infants and children. Okay, there's quite a few infants and children involved in this scheme, male and female. And if you look at my Twitter account, you'll see that I've pictured one walking its dog. And the reason why it was so strong, my impressions of him, because he fantasised that day. Literally, it's not historical abuse, it's now. They are raping infants and children now. And the police are involved in covering it up. Now, so what I'm going to do in this post, this is just a brief, oh god, the cat's got them. So, okay, this is happening now, folks. This is what the targeting programme is about. And if you look at read reports regarding West Midlands Police and sex offenders, you realise that they've had a 50% increase in sex offenders over recent years, but they have no money to take statements from victims of sex offenders. Okay, what will happen now, and I know it's happening, there has been an increase in sex offenders, but they've watered down the figure. West Midlands Police have watered down the figure. Not statistically, they're supposed to record everything, and that's how statistics are made up in the world. That you take a true reflection of what's going on in society. West Midlands Police lie about a number about the offences being reported to them, and lower the violence and the seriousness of offences. So they told me, they put in their statements that it's antisocial behavioural offence. I reported race hate crimes and sex offences, stalking, but they labelled it as antisocial behaviour offences. Oh, see a little bit of light. See my family confirming? Okay. Everybody, and I want you to spell this out, every fucking sick cunt involved in my targeting is aware that they've got child rapists. Everybody knows about Paul Burgess stalking me for years, with cameras in my flat, hidden cameras in my flat. Also, everybody's aware of this. The police let him do it, told him that he could carry on, let them both do it, told him that he could carry on. So he carried on. And it was a regular pattern of behaviour. Okay. The police also was aware, and is aware now, that he had cameras in my flat, hidden cameras in my flat. and it still has. The police let him, let them. Okay, and when I say the police, I'm talking about David Jamieson and the other sick entities in uniform. Okay, like I say, I'm going to let this out and then I'm going to put the names of every organisation, because it's targeted as a program. This is a program. This has been planned for years. I'd say about 30 years, something like that. To get the people that are subhuman, like Jamieson, Hayley, Lowe, in place. And because West Midlands have got a problem, I've always known it's a corrupt police force. Okay, it's an easy picking to pick this. So yes, there's an increase in sex offenders, but they haven't got the money to take statements of victims of sex offenders. Okay, and it's like because the Freemasons are involved, they will advertise what they're going to do. That's what they do. Okay, and because they've twisted the figures, the statistics, how many sex offenders are actually in place and how many people have reported some kind of sexual crime against them, we'll never get a true figure. But if we count their figure, there has been a 50% increase in sex offenders to the area. Okay, but they haven't got the funding to help the victims of sex offenders, and I purposely think that they've just sex, like I said previously, sexual deviance is at the core of the targeting programme. So if anybody, a victim of any kind of sex offence, comes to them or their parents come to, so my child's been abused, West Midlands Police and Dublin Council, if possible, will suss out the parent or the person and see if how vulnerable they think they are. If they're vulnerable, they will be targeted. Okay. If they feel vulnerable and need a prey, they will be targeted. And they will gaslight them, they will use threats, anything that at all possible can, I can't even speak about, anything they can use to send the person mad, either the victim or their parents or whatever. And like I say, this programme is to do with control, and use that control by picking victims, in inverted commas, that are easy. This is going to go out to, it's not just affecting victims of crime, this is affecting everybody now in the West Midlands. This is affecting everybody in the world, because now you know that statistically you can't rely on any information that your local police department, your local council, the local race opportunities, local rape crisis centres, whatever, because you know you can read the reports for yourself. But because West Midlands Police, and they're known to smudge their figures, should say. Anyway, so the figures being smudged, there is an increase in sex offences, but it won't be in the increase that they say. Okay, this will continue, and that's why I'll name every little fuckers involved, all the companies involved, like PH Jones, the plumbers. I'm going to mention those. Mentioned like as well, Kenneth Rodney, Desmond Dedew, XL 2000, Go to the Door, delivery persons, everybody that's showing themselves to be creature beasts, I'm going to name, in their companies. Okay. Missing anything else? That's just an overview, and the next post might learn something else or may not. But thank you very much. Thank you, family.